A great old mate of mine, Dame Andrea Jenkyns. Andrea Jenkyns is Conservative MP, the first to have the courage to put her head above the parapet and say, actually, I've put my letter into the 1922, we need a leadership challenge. We hear rumours that others are following suit. Andrea, what can you tell us?
Yes, I mean, after Suella's letter yesterday, obviously was voting last night, I spoke to several colleagues, and I know 6 who have said to me that they're putting letters in today.
So that's 7 we now know about?
Yes, yeah.
And
that's if they go ahead and do it, but they seemed quite adamant.
And that is before, Andrea, the Supreme Court,
yes.
Which, not a bombshell to me, not a bombshell to Bev, probably not a bombshell to you.
Well, even the ERG's meeting tonight about Rwanda.
This is the European Research Group. These were the sort of Spartans in the Brexit movement, of which you were one.
Yes.
I mean, there's a great sense of frustration, but, I mean, do you really think the answer is to topple another Prime Minister and put in somebody else before in a general election? Number 4?
I know. I mean, look, I've really wrestled with this because, I mean, I've had lots of constituents contact me who are really frustrated. And actually, when I put my letter in, I've had hundreds of people from all over the country saying, thank you for doing this. But, yeah, I wrestled with this in the fact that we could look very stupid. Toppling another leader, but I think we've got to bite the bullet now.
I agree with you, Andrea. I think you're absolutely right. I think it's about knowing when to cut your losses.
Yeah.
If you're in a race, you've got to know at which point you implement the next strategy. With Rishi Sunak in power, with this result today, with the letter from Suella Braverman, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose significantly. Absolutely. Because, as you say, I've never seen a government at the top of government that is so detached from people on the ground.
But also, Bev, I mean, for me as well, what I'm really concerned about is if we get Starmer in, if we see Starmer as the next Prime Minister, the damage that they're going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he's got no scruples, has he?
And he's got no...
To back Corbyn twice to get into number 10. He'll do whatever in pursuit of
power. And he's got
power.
absolutely nothing to say on immigration. It'll be open all hours
to
everybody.
Imagine.
Who, though... That's the point, Andrea. If you're going to get rid of him, who takes their place? And it's got to be done very quickly.
It has, yeah. I mean, first of all, I'll answer that, but I don't think it'd be that quick, unfortunately, given what happened last time. But who? Well, I want to back somebody who's got conviction, and to me, who's a true Conservative. And so it depends who puts their head above the parapet now and actually puts the name forward. But I don't want to split the centre-right. If we have 4 or 5 candidates, there's more of the One Nation MPs, then we're going to end up with another One Nation. So we need to unite behind one person, ideally. So they need to put the political egos to one side. I mean, I haven't heard anything on this yet, but I'd love to see Pretty put a name forward. Right. Yeah, I mean, she's fantastic.
Well, she was the architect of Rwanda in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to... I don't know if she's even considering it, but I'd love to see her.
And what about Suella Braverman?
I mean, I think she's shown... immense strength.
Yeah.
So those two would split each other's votes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
That's the worry, isn't it?
Yes, completely.
And doesn't that save Rishi Sunak in the sense that there's no obvious person to coalesce around? As an alternative.
But he isn't on... Look, political egos, there's probably going to be several on the centre-left of the party as well, isn't there? And the centrists. I mean, look, James Cleverly, there's... we're hearing... I mean, when they're trying to make out that the Education Secretary is an ex-Thatcher... I can't see that. So you can see even on that side they're making manoeuvres. But it's a slow process. I mean, back in the Theresa May days, which we all remember those, I was the first person to resign of my lowly PPS position back in the May. And I remember arguing with colleagues, look, because I was on the Brexit committee, they're not preparing for no deal. No, you need that as a strong card to negotiate. And if you remember, it took right till the December for all the letters to go in to... and she won that first leadership ballot, didn't she? But the concern is now we haven't got that time.
But the other thing, you make that point about no preparation for a no-deal Brexit. What is staggering from Braverman's letter? There is no plan B for Rwanda. It is exactly the same. The same way Cameron made no contingency plans for us voting to leave the European Union.
But do you know what's funny as well? Compare these two people. The membership didn't vote for these two people.
No.
They didn't get a chance.
That's right. And, of course, Suella Braverman blames this lack of plan B on... his magical thinking. What a damning phrase, as though he's a sort of utopian thinker, but not in touch with how to make any practicalities work.
I mean, I think, my assessment, I was Rishi's PPS when he was a junior minister. Yes.
Did he strike you as a Tory?
I mean, I got on OK with him at that stage. But I think I just think he lacks a backbone. He probably wants to do stuff in principle, but he lacks a backbone to actually, do whatever necessary to get this.
Is he a bit of a people pleaser?
Yes, I think so.
Who is he pleasing?
Well, certainly not the public, is it really?
Who is he pleasing? Nadine Dorries has written this book, which I know we've been taking the mickey out of, but she's been speaking very vocally in the last 24 hours about a dark cabal at the centre of the Conservative Party. A guy called Dougie Smith, whose name doesn't appear, seems to be being a very important guy. Is that what's happening inside the Conservative Party?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm not at that kind of level to know. I mean... but clearly there was plotting going on to get rid of Boris, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And even sort of things that I saw in the Whip's office, which I highlighted at the time to people that, this will damage the Prime Minister, got ignored. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was plotting going on because Rishi was their man. But also, let's not forget, the majority of Conservative MPs are the One Nation group. And, they didn't like the politics of Boris, of me, and of the ERG, etc. So, or Liz Truss. So there wasn't going to support an election-winning machine like Boris.
Can we ask you about the 6 who may or may not have put their names in?
Yeah.
Can you name any of them?
No, of course not.
Of course
no,
not.
gosh, no.
But you've gone public.
Yes. But even in Theresa May's time, how many went public?
No,
probably 10
right.
people or something.
What do you think they can do now, and blimmin' quickly, to stop these blimmin' migrants surging across the channel? Because what's happened today is going to lead to a massive uptake, I think, in the numbers crossing in the next few weeks.
Oh, exactly. And also, I mean, in my inbox, it's the biggest thing. And I'm like up north. I'm nowhere near near the sea. Yeah. Exactly. And what can we do now? I mean, I did a petition with Conservative Post a couple of months ago, and already we've got 35,000 signatures to come out of the ECHR.
Right.
And I think the measures that Suella put, we need to do. And she's a lawyer. She must know.
Yeah.
She must know the legalities of this better than I can.